Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. This is Dan Carson with B.Y.O.B Mortgage. Excited to have everybody following and listening in with us today. Excited to bring a first time kind of show topic to everyone where I'm kind of branching out from the normal of building the business and talking a little bit more about things that can impact people from a real estate perspective. So as I've spoke about previously on the show, I bought a home last year at the beginning of COVID in a pocket of Florida that they call the 30A. So this is a stretch of it's a beach community that runs essentially from Miramar Beach, Destin area, down to Panama City Beach. It's insulated. It's very it's got a national forest on one side, beach on the other, essentially. So it's a very, very special part of the country. We had been visiting there for most of our young adult lives, my wife and I. And the first time I went there, I said, this is a place where I want to own something one day. So the guest that we have today is one of the best realtors in the market out there, if not the best, very well recognized. He runs the 30A Realty Group that's part of Coker and Reverie, and his name is Jacob Watkins. So I have him joining us on the show. He's going to talk a little bit about their business, what they're doing there, and we're going to go through some Q&A on the 30A market. And so we can share with people, whether you're in Dallas, whether you're in Austin, Houston, somewhere in Texas, or really anywhere that you're looking to relocate into this area. Jacob's an excellent person to be a guide to that market. And so we're fortunate to have him join us today and be and giving us some insight on the market there in the 30A in the Panhandle in Florida. So, Jacob, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having us, or having me.
Yeah.
Part of the show.
Yeah, you said us, and that's because you have a partner that you run the business with, right?
That's right. Yeah, Hillary Varnum Foss, my partner. We merged our companies early 2020 under the Corcoran brand, and it's been great servicing the 30A community with our brokerage.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about what you've seen over the past couple of years, because obviously we've been going there for a long time. And since COVID happened, I feel like it's almost every weekend is like it was during the holiday weekend. So what are you seeing happening in the 30A market? And what do you think is what it's going to look like over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so we've seen a good stretch of market demand, good market, really the past 5 or 6 years coming out of the 2008 recession. A lot of investment starting coming into the market around 2016, 2017, neighborhoods releasing new product and whatnot. But the pandemic and what happened with COVID really shifted the entire demand, what our market looked like, who our buyers are. The beaches got shut down in March of 2020. It was really quiet for about 30 to 45 days. You'd walk around town and it was pretty empty. Beaches opened back up, I think around May 15th of 2020. And literally to this day, it's been like peak season summer since May of 2020. So it's been great from a market standpoint on the real estate side. Economy is doing great down here. We've seen a lot, additional entertainment opportunities, new restaurants open. So 30A in our specific little stretch of beach here, it's growing daily. It's a really exciting time to be part of this market, to be a homeowner here, be a vacationer here, live down here. The lifestyle has never really been any better.
So how did you grow up in the area, or how did you find yourself down in that market, and what made you decide to specialize there?
Yeah, so I grew up in South Alabama, but spent a lot of time along the Gulf Coast beaches, from Orange Beach and Gulf Shores and over to Destin, and then eventually into the 30A market as well. I moved down here in 2012 and started a business doing some different types of services, but quickly moved into the construction, renovation, development side of the business. I purchased 30A Realty. 30A Realty was in business since 1991. two individuals previously owned it. They're one of the two oldest brokerages in our market. I purchased that company in 2017 and began growing it from there. And then, as I mentioned, in 2020, Hillary, she also owned a small boutique luxury brokerage. We merged our companies together. In March of 2020, we launched with about 65 or 70 agents. Today, we have 150 agents. We service everywhere from Destin across 30A into the Bay County, Panama City Beach area as well.
Awesome. So you're not just working on the vacation home. You're working with people from all aspects. If they're relocating full time, if they're buying up, doing second home, move up homes, you're working with individuals of all types, basically throughout the Panhandle, from Destin all the way to Panama City.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, our buyers are buying in this market for an array of different reasons. We have the investment buyer looking at buying a vacation rental that's really focused on the income and what it generates and what that provides. We have our luxury second homeowners that are buying within these neighborhoods just as a pure getaway from wherever they may be coming from. They find it a safe place to put their money, a great place to enjoy the lifestyle. And then, finally, we're working with a lot of both locals and relocating full-time homeowners that are living in this market, working in this market. Many live here and travel from here. Our airport has grown tremendously. And so we see a lot of buyers moving their full-time residents here, putting their kids in school here, but maybe hopping on the plane and going to work every Monday morning. So a lot of different types of profiles of buyers within our market. And each, depending on who they are, may be specifically looking at different neighborhoods because of that.
Very cool. And I'd like to talk a little bit about each one of those segments and some of those neighborhoods that could be particular to them. Yeah. So starting off with the investment and like kind of the vacation rental by owner purchase. Yeah. What are some of the major markets that you see there? And what type of returns can people expect? Like, is this something where they could see great returns, or should they expect to, basically be able to cover their mortgage and be able to have a place to go? Or is there a little bit of both of that for people?
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a full stretch array. So there's a lot of great developments and communities and neighborhoods to look at if you're looking to be an investment buyer in our market. Some offer better returns than others, specifically neighborhoods within the Miramar Beach area or even over in the Bay County area in Panama City Beach. Those properties offer tremendous returns. They rent like crazy, close to the beach. You're looking for something with a private pool, and you can see something like a 10% gross return on properties like that. And again, that doesn't even really take into calculation the valuation increase that we may see over time as well. You can add those percentage points in addition to your cash flow return, and they begin to look really good. Other neighborhoods on 30A, such as Watercolor, Seaside, NC Grove, Blue Mountain Beach, those offer great rental opportunities as well. Some of the neighborhoods you may pay a little more of a premium to be within that community. So because of that, your returns may look a little bit different, but then the value on the equity side might be a lot larger over time. So you just kind of have to weigh and look at what those mean and what the differences are. Looking at neighborhoods outside of HOAs typically give you more room for more parking, large private pool, which thus relate and equal more rental income. So when I'm working with buyers that are specifically focused on, I want the best return possible, we may not be looking specifically in Rosemary Beach or Alice Beach, given the premium you pay to be there, but we look at areas around those neighborhoods where a rental guest could still enjoy those amenities, visit that community, but you're not paying the HOA dues and the premium to actually own within the community. So really depends on the specific buyer, what their finances look like, where they're trying to land, and are they really strictly focused on the income only, or there's a mix between what they desire to have as a second home and the income?
Right. And as a homeowner with an HOA there personally, I would prefer to not be in an HOA moving forward, specifically for some of those reasons. Yeah. That's something that had I had somebody locally on the ground, I was your typical like, hey, I found something on Zillow, put in an offer with an agent that I know, sight unseen, got lucky. I love our house. I love the location. We're in Seagrove, but had I done it over again and had I met you, I would have called you, had you give me some sound advice. Sure. And I got under contract in that time period where everybody was kind of freaking out. So, and I was fortunate because I bought at the right time, because I would say we're probably another 40 to 50% in equity from the time that I bought that house, which is crazy.
And when did you buy it?
What's that?
When did you buy it?
I got under contract late March and I closed like in early June.
Of 21 or 20?
20 and
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, so you've seen some great value. I mean, it's really specifically buyers that bought in Q2, early Q3 of 2020. I mean, the value increase they've seen since then is tremendous. We kind of went into 21 thinking we'd really seen it all in 2020. The market has run great in 21.
Well, in just the data around it, now, even if I was to look at buying something now and doing a move up, or, we're on the north side of 38, just barely. We have to take a golf cart, or we could take a long walk down to the beach, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
But to get on the beach side, or, just one off of the beach or on the beach, like people are like, why would you ever do that? Because of the amount of equity increase or the appreciation that the market's seen over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's almost like if you've been there and you see what's going on, so that we haven't even touched the top of the market. The way I view it is you're moving to a beach community that arguably the prettiest beach in the best country in the world. It's hard to beat.
Exactly.
So,
and through COVID and through the pandemic, we saw a lot of new wealth and a lot of new buyers, which did a ton for demand, and obviously from a price point, increased price point as well. But I think we haven't even begun to tap into what some of the Northeast markets and the wealth in those markets are going to bring here. Midwest markets, we're starting to see some West Coast, and then we have seen no foreign investment at this point. And if you look at markets like South Florida, if you look at markets like Vail and Aspen, a ton of their market is driven by foreign investors and foreign income. They haven't discovered our beaches yet. I think it's a matter of time before they do. And what that does for our market, we have no idea. I mean, I think we have a tremendous runway of what can happen price-wise, demand-wise, development-wise here.
Yeah. And what people don't one of the nice things about the market there is that there's not, there's not a lot of condos. There's not a lot of multifamily. There's building limitations now. So you're not the market there is really geared towards single family homes.
Yeah.
And that's where most of the development is going on. I mean, do you see there ever being changes from the county perspective to where condos may make a comeback or anything else? Or do you feel like that what's there is there and it's kind of grandfathered in and that's what we're going to get?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a 50-foot building height restriction. It would literally take an act of God for that to change. I don't ever believe that will change. If you look at the landscape of South Walton County and what is down here, I think over 65% of the land in South Walton County is state park conservation area. So those different aspects between height restrictions, the amount of state park we have, the way our roadways are laid out, the communities we have, create what is 30A and why it's so special and why people love to be down here. It's very different than beach towns you'll find in South Alabama and South Florida along the East Coast. It's very unique and very special and very difficult to replicate given the natural resources that we have in our area, which has thus created the demand, the lifestyle, what everybody's looking for, and why this has become the place to be in the south part of the U.S.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next section of home buyers that we talked about, which is somebody that's coming to move there full time.
Yeah.
And let's say they wanted to live in one of the actual 30A communities. What would you recommend from a single family standpoint, schools, everything else? What's the best areas? And then what would be attractors to there? Like what are some things, some amenities that they can enjoy as a permanent resident?
Yeah, so I mean, the great thing about COVID, and even a little before that, we really had some developers with some foresight to understand that this was happening. The airport was growing, folks were moving here full time, people wanted to live here, and thus developed and created communities focused on that. So we're looking typically if someone's here full time, they're probably looking for a rental restricted type neighborhood. So a neighborhood that doesn't allow for week to week rentals. It gives the opportunity for that homeowner to build a community, have friends. You're not having somebody moving in and out next door every week. And there's some fantastic communities that specifically focus on that depending on price point. So our retired luxury buyers that are wanting to come here and be in a neighborhood that does not allow rentals or has very limited rentals are looking in neighborhoods like the Retreat in Blue Mountain Beach, one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in our community. Celebrities live there, gated, completely private, amazing beach club. I think over 1,300 feet of beach frontage. So you go to the beach, it feels like you're on a private island. Amazing neighborhood. Those same type buyers are looking in Alice Beach as well, and some other kind of little enclaves of 30A that are rental restricted. Additional buyers that may be here, moving, working, living here, their kids are going to school. Watersound Origins is a fantastic community. It's a St. Joe development. It offers a ton of different type of products. So from the smaller garden homes that range in the $400,000 to $500,000 price point, to the golf course homes that are in the $2 million price point with private pools and whatnot. There's a full array of different types of product within the Watersound Origins community. It's developed around a big town center that is constructing a new Publix, has a village market, a medical clinic aspect to it. The new Walton County Dune Lakes Elementary School is a less than 5-minute drive from this community, but it offers really fast access into 30A, Watersound, Rosemary Beach, so you can enjoy what we have on 30A specifically, but not necessarily be in the middle of it every day, and obviously be at a different price point to be able to enjoy it. And the amenities of Watersound Origins compare with any specific 30A community, such as Watersound itself or Rosemary Beach or Alice Beach. So that neighborhood has exploded throughout this pandemic in bringing price points we didn't really ever foresee coming there. But people really love the amenities, love the lifestyle, love the community. It's been a great, great spot to see grow.
Yeah, and being in Seagrove myself, we drive through that area. It's just on the north side of 98, correct? The Origins part is.
Yeah.
So, like all that area back in there, there's room for growth and development, continued growth and development. But again, mostly it's all going to be mostly focused on single family homes, which I think.
That's right. If you look at the St. Joe plan, there is a full corridor that will go through Watersound Origins to the airport, and there will be everything from retirement type living, assisted home living, and then family living as well. So quick access to the beach, quick access to the airport, great amenities, great entertainment, great dining, all within walking and biking distance from these neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I guess the move up buyer in y'all's neighborhood, like where do you see people moving from community to community?
Yeah.
I spoke about my specific situation where it's kind of like as a second homeowner looking at getting closer to the beach and kind of working your way towards the beach. That's one particular buyer for sure. Yeah. But what are some of the other people that you see in the market that can create opportunity for somebody trying to buy in the market?
Yeah, so our strictly second homeowners are our most likely to quote unquote move up, keep looking at different opportunities. Our investment buyers also typically are more accruing additional opportunities versus moving up. But we see second home buyers may start their ownership in neighborhoods like Blue Mountain Beach, Inlet Beach, Seagrove Beach that are outside some of the planned communities. We saw a lot of buyers that bought in watercolor when it was a little more quiet, a little more private, and they're moving into neighborhoods like Watersound. Watersound's gated, a little more expensive, a little more private, still has a good bit of rentals in it as well. And we're seeing a lot of owners in watercolor and Watersound moving into neighborhoods like Alice Beach that's a lot more restricted on rentals and whatnot. And so we see that movement pretty drastically. And the demand in Alice has been incredible, both from new buyers as well as buyers from other communities moving up into that neighborhood on 38.
Yeah, and Alice Beach is kind of an iconic community out there, like they all are. Each little beach community has its own little like feel to it.
Correct.
And Alice Beach has the all white construction, mostly concrete, stucco exteriors. It's very very neat. Like you feel like it's clean and tidy, and it just looks pretty. I mean. Yeah. And it's a great area, and that's one that I think that most people strive to get into at some point in time. And every little market has its kind of benefits to it. Rosemary, you can't have golf carts there, right. So everything has its thing. Every area has its thing. Watersound has the hub, which is Providence is directly across from that too. So every area has its kind of unique things, and the area in itself is so unique. But from a local's perspective, how do you feel like the local community is dealing with all the growth? Because they've seen a lot. Is it fully embraced? Is some of it kind of like, hey, let's slow this down a little bit? Yeah. Are you seeing it from both ends? Like, share some insight there.
Yes, I mean, like in any southern town growing right now, there's obviously those who remember the old days of having the entire beach to themselves, and there's definitely going to be some pushback from that segment of homeowner and local. But for the most part, we see our economy is driven by real estate. It's driven by tourism. We all are benefiting from what's going on. Locals are really good at finding their niches of where they live, where they hang out, where they play. We see a lot of movement towards folks living on the bay, living on the canal. That's across 98 from the beach, and they may spend more time boating now or on their paddle boards or kayaks versus being on the beach. So I would say as a whole, most locals have embraced it, love new folks, love meeting people, love seeing people come into town, but they've also created their privacy and their niches in different areas of the market where they can spend time with their family or their community and not necessarily feel like they're in a vacation town every single day. So it's a mixed bag, but I know personally for me and my family, we love it. We love the idea that in the winter, we're a really small, quiet southern town, but in the summer, we feel like we're in a big city and we have the shopping and dining that a big city might provide. So it's pretty fun.
It is. And I've come to appreciate coming in the times where people usually aren't vacationing at the beach. Yeah. Those are some of my favorite times to be there as well.
It is. I mean, the fall and the spring, the weather's perfect. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. The water temperature's great. It's not too busy. Some of the best wine festivals, entertainment we have are in the fall and the spring. So if you're visiting this area for the first time, especially if you don't have kids in school, it's an awesome time to come spend some time down here.
I agree. And one thing I've come to appreciate is the live music aspect. There's a lot of great musicians that are out there. And that's something that I think is underappreciated about the market in 30A is there's always great live music. There's tons of great musicians. There's always something to do. Any night of the week, there's something enjoyable to do.
That's so true. And, we're so influenced by the Nashville market too. A lot of those musicians live here and play here and spend time here, and they've been able to influence a lot of additional entertainment and whatnot in our market as well, which is cool. Like, you're totally right. There's always something to do. Great food, great wine, great music, great for kids, great for older people. It's a really diverse, cool area to be.
It is. And I, Luke Bryan's got a coffee shop or a cigar shop.
Yeah.
Cigar shop right there in the hub. Which is neat. I've got a buddy who's a country singer, and he stayed with us at our house, and he was listing off names left and right of big names in Nashville. I remember the first time I was down there, saw a couple of pro athletes that were very recognizable. It's kind of neat because it's one of those places where you're gonna see unique people, but everybody kind of treats everybody the same. So you're just another person in 30A. It was kind of the way I always felt, which is great because that's how you want to be. So it's been for me personally, it's been a pleasure being out there and getting to know the people in the local market and some of the local people myself. Anywhere I am, I want to try to know people, and this has been a pleasure having you on our podcast today. And getting a chance to hear from you and some of your thoughts about the market there, because I've got tons of people that are always looking in that market, whether they be realtors that I'm friends with, friends that want to buy there. We always have people approaching us. And so now it's great to have a local expert like yourself, somebody that's fully in the market and in the know to help people out here from the Dallas market, particularly that want to buy in the 30A. So
we appreciate that. We love sharing our area with folks. We love talking about what we had to offer in real estate in our market. So myself or any of our 150 agents at Corcoran would be stoked to talk to anybody that you guys have anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Again, we were talking about the 30A market in the Panhandle, which is stretch beach that runs from Destin down to Panama City. This is a market that's very hot and it's been hot for about, I'd say, over a decade, but it's been growing since it really started. And we're fortunate that there's great representation out there, people that know the market and care about getting people into the right type of home for what they're looking for. Jacob, thanks for joining us today. It's been great having you on. And we'll see everybody next week. We're looking at Colorado, Broken Bow next as markets that we're going to talk about. We'll probably revisit the 30A at some point in time, get some additional perspective. And we really appreciate you joining us today. We'll talk to everyone soon. See ya.
Thank you.